Morning, my dear students. Today, let me have a brief discussion regarding about the different kinds of topics what we have in the DBMS at the end of the units. It's very important to be know about different kinds of topics what we have in the fourth unit. It will be appears in 2 marks or 5 marks questions sometimes in the exams. So before going to that, we already studied about aggregate functions in practical. So when we can able to apply aggregate function, that's most important. Every functions it's going to be executing on the sub relation of the main relation. The selection of the tuple is going to be creating a one more sub relation. It's a subset of the main relation. Whenever if you want to be count or if you want to find out the what is the maximum salary of the employee, minimum salary of the employee, average salary of the employees, how many number of employees are working in the company, or student marks total, so a number of students in the table or a relation. So whenever if you want to be summarize all kind of informations, then we can apply the aggregate functions. So here we have an example. Find the maximum salary, the minimum salary, average salary of among all employees. So here we have the command function name max, min, and average. So which is going to be taking the values from the salary attribute from the employee. At the end, it's going to be displaying the what is the maximum salary of the employee table. Here we have that one more command on the aggregate function. The query is retrieve the total number of employees in the company. Fine. It's going to be count that number of records or number of tuples in the relation. And next query we have the number of employees in the research department. That's most important because here what we should understand, department itself is going to becoming a one of the sub relation from the main relation employee table. So here we need to be combine the two tables. One is department and one is the employee. So first it will be joined and later it's going to be find out that who are all are working in the research department. So here we have that retrieve the total number of employees in the company and the number of employees in the research department. The same query what we taken in the last. So well, the grouping. What's the meaning of the grouping? So whenever if you want to be keep summarizable informations, we have to be suppose if you want to be combine all the units in the sub relation or tuples in a particular sub relation from the main relation, so where we can able to apply the grouping. Example, suppose if we are going to be conducting a district level tournament, so in the sports activities we will have a cricket, we will have a basketball, we have a throw ball. So like we have different kinds of activities will be there. So many number of participants is going to be enrolling their names for the cricket, for the throw ball, for the basketball, one by one, like that. At the end of the complete table, if I want to be see that how many sports activities are participated in this district level, then to know so where we can able to apply the grouping and only the unique content of data will be displayed. So we can apply that grouping on any kind of relations. Each subgroup of tuples consists of the set of tuples that have the same value for the grouping attributes. So what the name we're going to be giving for the attribute, that attribute name will be appears. So independently, where we can able to apply onto the sub relations. SQL has a group by class for specifying the grouping attributes, which must also appears in the select class. Here we have best example to know from the employee table for each department, retrieve the department number and the number of employees in the department and their average salaries. Here, what we should understand how the way of how the grouping will be going to be applying. Here, department number will be one, but in the department, many number of employees will be there, and those employees' average salary is required. So here we have to be group the all the number of employees by taking help of the department and the number. So by applying the group by class using department number. So in the queries, you can see that the employee tuples are divided into groups, each group having the same value for the grouping attribute department number. So like the department number is one is mean that there will be a number of employees. Again, there will be have a social security number. So by taking help of that number of unique values, what we have in the particular department, so where we can able to count number of employees who are working by taking help of the count. And also we can able to apply the average, that is one of the aggregate function. So we can able to come to know that what is the average salary from the for each project, retrieve the project number, project name, and number of employees who work on that project. See here, we need to be know that project is a one table and number of working status is a one more table. So we can able to combine by taking help of the project number and as well as the project P name from the works on by taking help of the project number and as well as the P name. SP one more we have SQL triggers. See what is the triggers is nothing but where it's going to be performing some certain action depends on the query what the user is going to be entering at the runtime. The best example, suppose if you are in the ATM machine, you do not have a sufficient balance and you are trying to withdrawing the amount. So immediately it will show you that you do not have a sufficient amount. That is one of the best example of the trigger, SQL trigger. To monitor a database and takes action whenever the condition will be occur. It's a special type of assertion. What is the meaning of a special type of assertion is that so which is going to be providing the some additional constraints or condition on particular attribute like a balance. The balance is more than 500, it allows the amount to be retrieved. If it is not, then so it shows that what the action you need to be take later. That is a trigger's best example. It depends upon that action, depends upon the input value what the client is going to be giving here. So this is you have small syntax. One is event, condition, action. Event, what the things to be performed. Condition, based on what we need to apply. Action, which is going to be certifying the some particular operation. What to be taken depends on the condition. Best example about the triggers, how we can able to use. So we can able to use the trigger as it is the way how we going to be creating a table by taking help of the create command. Here you can see that. So we have a best example to understand about the trigger. Views. What is the meaning of views? Views is a virtual table, so which is going to be containing very limit process. So where we can't able to perform all kind of operations. How actually we are going to be working by taking help of the physical table. The updated all the kind of update operations are limited, but virtually table will be helps us to know that what can be the changes appears on stored data after applying our SQL command before we going to be storing permanently. Then we can apply the views. Views is the best example to know changes what can be appear. This is the syntax or commands of the view that directly where we can able to view itself is a one command. How we have a create table. So like that we have a view. If we use the create table, we are going to be creating the data table or relation which is going to be storing permanently. And if we're going to using create view is be that which is going to be creating a logical table. And how we go defining the attribute list and it's a example about the view here on the worksun. You can see that here we have a view the table before we used to take and which is going to be find out that on the worksun is the new view name f name lm a project name hours from employee project worksun which is going to be combining the three tables or relations by taking help of the social security number and as well as the project number by taking help of the project name. Well, we'll see that what is the meaning of this embedded SQL. What is the meaning of this embedded? This embedded is nothing but in the host language, so where we can able to access the statements from the other languages. Most SQL statements can be embedded in general purpose host programming language. So which is like in, we seen on the COBOL, we seen in the Java, and also in the different languages. So every time before we're going to be using SQL statements in the other programming languages, so where we need to be using SQL coding, which is going to be containing the execution part and also the end part, which is going by taking help of the exec SQL and end exec. So it means that within that, so where we can able to write the SQL statements in other programming languages. SQL code is the one of the important command which is to communicate the uh, errors or exceptions which can be appears between the database and as well as the program. So where all the SQL attributes will be declared by taking help of the declare command. These are the example of the way how we can able to connecting the database by taking help of the SQL statements. Connect itself is a command which is going to be connecting to the server as a by taking help of the connection name to the database. And also we have a change from an active connection to another one means where we can able to use set connection and connection name, and also we can able to disconnect the particular table, so which is going to be disconnecting from the permanent database and the as well as the server. This is the example of the embedded SQL by taking help of C language, how we can able to use. So any it can be in any SQL statements. We must be used between exec SQL and end exec SQL. So where which helps to be where which is going to be helps to be knows that how we can able to combine the different kinds of tuples relations and how it's going to be executing between the different tables. Those things we can come to know and we can execute it also. The result should be comes in the same language, but the thing is that we have to use SQL commands and statement between exec SQL and end exec. And database stored procedures. So what is this procedures? Which is procedure completely is going to be executing by the server and which is going to be handling all the clients. Whenever if there are any kind of clients, so if they are requesting for the data to be accessed, it seeks that it's the authenticated, is eligible to be provided or not. Based upon that, so where they're going to be providing the access availability. So which is going to which we going to be created by taking help of the modules. Is mean that sequence of statements will be contained inside of the one block. And it will be stored locally completely under control of the server. So what we have the advantages. Procedures is needed by many applications. It can be invoked by any of them. Like example, suppose database procedures can be able to store in the Airbus reservation. In the Airbus reservation, which is good, which contain the some block or set of statements. In that set of statements, anybody can able to access by booking the seat. This means that many applications it will be available from the many applications. Anybody can able to access it, and it's under control of the only one server. And also, it's going to be reducing the communication cost. So, enhancing the modeling view. Here we have the procedures like what actually it's contain. A stored procedure, creating the procedures by taking help of the procedure name, and we can declare, and also we can able to write the code. And also we have the function, how we create a function and function name. Suppose it's optional. If you have a returning any kind of values, we can able to use the return type. Same as it is going to be containing the local declarations of the different data names by taking help of the data type, function body, calling procedures or a function. Whenever if you want to be call for a particular functions, so where we can able to use the particular function name by taking help of the call.